Angela, it's time. You need to get your luggage ready. You'll be going to stay with your Aunt Petunia starting from tomorrow.
I'm going to stay with Aunt Petunia? Just me? On my own?
That's right. You'll be living with her at her house from tomorrow.
Huh? But why? Am I allowed to say no? I'm not sure I want to do that.
No? Of course you're not, silly little girl. You won't be living with me in this house anymore. I need my own personal space.
But my wound isn't even fully healed yet. I can't see properly in my left eye, and I'm still not great on my feet. My sense of distance is all messed up, and my balance is all over the place, which makes walking difficult.
That's fine. Your aunt's house is within acceptable distance from the hospital. You'll be able to carry on going to your appointments as normal. How else are you supposed to get your walking back to normal without practice? Besides, where's your fighting spirit? Back in my day, we kept a stiff upper lip when times were tough.
But why? Why do I have to move out to live with Aunt Petunia? I don't understand. Did I do something wrong?
I can't take living with you anymore. I heard the doctor. He said you'd have that scar forever. It's so ugly and disgusting to look at. I'd frankly rather you not be here.
Wow. You're kicking me out because you don't want to look at my face? You're the one who injured me in the first place, Mom!
You're blaming me for what happened? Seriously? Good grief.
Well, you are the only one who pushed me.
I hardly did it on purpose. You're the one who was desperately trying to cling to me for God knows what reason, and all I did was push you away. That's when you stumbled and fell. There just so happened to be a pot of boiling water where you landed. You got injured as a result of your own irresponsible foolishness, and you need to accept the consequences of your actions, young lady.
Mom, you've been drinking again, and you were going crazy, shouting, screaming, and throwing things just like you always do. I only got involved because I was scared, and I thought you might hurt yourself.
I was certainly not drunk, and I was certainly not going crazy, shouting, screaming, or throwing things. This is one of the most ridiculous loads of baloney I've ever heard. Do not try to paint your mother as some violent alcoholic barbarian. How rude!
Mom, you start throwing stuff and trashing the place every time you drink. Why can't you just accept it? I'm not judging you, I want to help you. But it's like I'm banging my head against a brick wall. It was just last month you threw that flower vase and broke our huge flat-screen TV. Or did you forget that already?
Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to your own mother like that? You impertinent little cretin. Why I oughta... Keep talking. If I wasn't sure I made the right decision by having you move in with your Aunt Petunia, I certainly am now. You're ugly. You can't even see properly. Let's face it, there's no value in keeping you around here whatsoever.
Wow. So go on. Tell me, what exactly do you mean by me having no value?
You bring nothing to the table. I no longer have the time or energy or patience to carry on looking after you. It's nothing but work, work, work. Having you in this house is nothing but trouble for me, and I'm finally washing my hands of you. Starting tomorrow, you'll be Aunt Petunia's problem.
I see. If that's how you feel, maybe it's in my best interest to be as far away from you as possible. I guess there's no reason for me to hold back anymore, so I'll just come out with it. I think you and Dad are the worst parents ever.
Excuse me?
You're both vile, disgusting dirtbags. Oh yeah, and obviously you're a raging alcoholic. Not to mention Dad's gambling addiction. I really couldn't have had a worse set of parents. Now that I think about it, I probably am better off with Aunt Petunia.
Vile and disgusting? Remind me who you're talking about again. Because the only thing that's vile and disgusting here is your ugly face, you insolent little witch. I wish you were never born, you pathetic waste of space. Having you was the biggest mistake of my life. There isn't a day that goes by where I don't regret it.
I can't wait to live with Aunt Petunia. In fact, I'm so excited, I'm not waiting until tomorrow. I'll be gone tonight. I can't bear to be in the same house as someone as evil as you for even a second longer.
Joyce, fantastic. Great. Music to my ears. In that case, hurry up and disappear from my life forever. Believe me, the sooner I see the back of you, the better. Never show your disgusting face around here again, you misshapen little goblin. Even if you come crawling back with tears streaming down your face in the middle of the night, you won't be coming inside.
Don't worry, I'm never coming back. I can't wait to get away from you and Dad. I can finally be happy.
With a face like that? No matter what you do or where you go, you'll never be happy for as long as you live. Forget marriage. With a face like that, you'd be lucky you even found a boyfriend. No, here's what you should do. Give up on the laughable idea that you could ever be happy. Fall into a hole and live out your days quietly, where you cause as little nuisance as possible to us respectable members of society. Hi, Angela. Oh, it's been a while. How have you been?
Huh? Is that Mom?
How old are you? 25, 26? I can't believe you're a fully grown adult now.
Mom, is that really you? This isn't someone playing a trick, is it?
It really is me, your mother. I'm so sorry for not keeping in touch these last 10 years.
Yeah, you should be. Why are you messaging me now after all this time? What do you want? What reason could you possibly have for talking to me right now? Make it quick.
Oh, don't be so cold. I just wanted to speak to my darling daughter, that's all. I've missed you so much. I was wondering if maybe we could meet sometime.
You've got some nerve. To talk about meeting me after kicking me out and not messaging me for 10 whole frickin' years? I don't have a single thing to say to you. Not over text, not in real life. And we are so not meeting up.
You say that, but you didn't block me, did you, darling? Thank you, I do appreciate it, you know. If you're honest with yourself deep down, you were probably waiting for me to get back in touch. I can only apologize for taking so long.
Ew, no way. Seeing your name pop up was the last thing I wanted. Anyway, get to the point. Or was that it?
Angela, I owe you an apology. There's no forgiving how I treated you back then. I was horrible to you, and I abandoned you. I won't make any excuses. I'm sorry. How did you get on with the injury after we stopped speaking? Does it still hurt?
The sight in my left eye never came back. The wound healed, so visually I don't look that different to anyone else. But that's only because Aunt Petunia was kind enough to cover my medical bills. If not for her, I would never have been able to afford treatment. Not only that, but she also paid for me to go to college, too. I owe her everything. I honestly don't know where I'd be if not for her love and support.
Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that, darling. A woman's beauty is everything. I'm so pleased you won't have to go through life with a nasty little scar. It didn't look good for you at all back then. I was quite worried, you know. I'm grateful for Aunt Petunia, too. I can't help but feel guilty over forcing her to look after my daughter out of the blue like that. You know, I'm actually thinking of apologizing properly to her, too.
You messaged me out of nowhere after 10 years with a surprise apology, and now you want to apologize to Aunt Petunia, too? What brought this on? Did you join a cult? I remember everything you said 10 years ago, and how you called me a disgusting little goblin. How you said I was worthless. All of it. Oh yeah, and let's forget you said you wished I was never born. Why are you doing this? Why now?
I can only apologize for the way I behaved back then, Angela. I truly am sorry from the bottom of my heart. Believe me, I thought so long and hard about what I did after you were gone. I've been doing some soul-searching lately. It suddenly dawned on me I'm a failure of a mother.
I never knew you had it in you to apologize to another human being. I thought your selfishness knew no bounds. I was sure you were doomed to be that way for the rest of your life.
Don't say things like that. There's no doubt I was the worst of the worst back then. But I'm a changed woman. You believe people can change, don't you, darling? I turned over a new leaf. I stopped drinking, too.
Wow, really? Even though you used to get through several bottles of wine a day?
Yes, to tell you the truth, quitting wasn't easy. There were so many times where I felt like I was giving in, like going back to it. The voice inside my head that said, one glass and all the pain goes away, felt so powerful. But every time I felt lost and hopeless and racked with doubt, I remembered your face and it gave me the strength to persevere and carry on.
What made you quit?
Me and your father divorced.
I see. I was amazed you tolerated each other for as long as you did. You were both so arrogant, self-centered, it was a miracle you even lasted long enough to have me.
Your father, he was unfaithful, with a girl much, much younger than me. Eventually he ended up kicking me out of the house so he could move her in my place.
Wow. So he's still a complete scumbag, just like always.
When he did that, I realized the pain of being betrayed by someone you love. At the same time, I was overwhelmed by the heartbreaking sadness of being kicked out on the streets at a moment's notice. My world had been flipped upside down. I felt so pathetic. It was in that moment I finally realized how awful I treated you. I've been a terrible mother and a fool.
You mean you finally understand the pain you put me through?
That's right. I'm fully committed to starting over and becoming a better human being. I knew that if I was serious about walking the path of redemption, I had to at least apologize for everything I did. That's why I messaged you after all these years.
I see.
10 years is a long time. You must have been lonely. Were you?
Yes, of course. Aunt Petunia was the kindest person I could have ever hoped to have in my life. But she did have other kids to look after. No matter how long I stayed there, no matter how well I got along with everyone, I knew deep down I was an outsider, and that it wasn't my home. I saved up as much money as I could and moved out not long after I got there.
That's only natural, darling. Your home is with me, after all.
Make no mistake, though. I feel nothing but gratitude for Aunt Petunia for everything she did for me. She provided me with somewhere to live in safety and comfort. She gave me food, clothes, put a roof over my head, and most importantly, she was there to love and support me when I needed it the most. If not for her, I never would have had the motivation to study and make something of my life, and I never would have gotten into a first-rate college. As a result, I was fortunate enough to land a job at a good company. I always felt so self-conscious and insecure about the scar on my face, but I resolved to work as hard as I possibly could in spite of that. I wasn't going to let what happened back then hold me back.
Yes, I heard. Peeps Industries, right? I couldn't believe it. I was so overcome with pride when I found out my daughter managed to land a job at such a prestigious global company. You really are amazing, Angela.
Wait, how did you know where I work?
I heard from a relative.
Someone's loose-lipped.
You work at their HQ in New York, right? Oh, my daughter is in the big city. They also told me where the apartment you're living in is. You're not a small-town country bumpkin anymore. You really made it, honey. That's my Angela. You're so special and talented. My heart fills with pride and joy every time I think about you.
They told you where I live, too?
I had no idea any daughter of mine would ever grow up to be such a high achiever. You always were different to me and your father.
Right. I thought I was always more similar to Aunt Petunia. One thing's for sure. My childhood would have been a hell of a lot happier if she was my mom.
Yes, darling, maybe it would. Maybe it would. I want you to know how amazing you are, and I'm very proud of you.
Thanks. Was there anything else, or did you just get in touch to heap praise on me? If not, we're done here. I understand how you feel now, so there isn't really much more to say.
Darling, wait! Of course the main reason I reached out to was because I wanted to apologize. But there was one more thing I wanted to talk to you about. You'll hear me out, won't you?
Only if it's quick. What is it? I have a ton of stuff to do, and I'm up early in the morning.
Well, you know how I told you me and your dad divorced? Well, that means I'm all on my own now. How would you feel about us living together? You and your old mother, just the two of us.
Excuse me? Me and you live together?
I know it might sound crazy to you, given how long it's been, and thinking about how I behaved back then, it's probably the last thing you want. But I promise I'm not the same person anymore. I'll never do anything to hurt or upset you ever again.
Crazy doesn't even scratch the surface. But it's true. You must have lost your mind if you're actually asking me this.
Please, darling, won't you give your old mother one more chance? I've changed, I swear.
That may be so, but I'm a grown woman with a life of my own now. Why would I go out of my way to live with my estranged mother? You're more than capable of looking after yourself. Do you still work? Surely you must still be making money.
Let me right my wrongs. I swear this time I'll be a better mother you deserve. It's only right that we live together. We're mother and daughter family. Please, darling, won't you give me one chance to make up for all the horrible things I've done to you? Let me make up for all the lost family time I stole from us. Let me show you how I changed.
This is a lot to take in. There's no way I can give you an answer straight away. I need some time to think.
Right, yes, of course. It's a lot to process, I understand. Of course, darling, take as long as you need. But I hope your answer will be positive and forward-thinking, because I just know that that's the kind of person you are. Let's give things one more shot as mother and daughter. Hey, Angela, how are you? Have you reached a decision yet? You have been thinking positively about this, haven't you? About me and you living together. I hate to rush you, but I really am going to need an answer soon.
Yes, I've decided.
You have? Darling, the suspense is killing me. Go on, what is it?
You are sorry for what you did, aren't you?
Yes, dear, of course I am. When I think about how awfully I treated you, I'm filled with nothing but shame and regret. I put you through so much unnecessary pain and suffering. I'm so sorry for everything. I know I'll never be able to take back what I did, but I at least hope you'll give me the opportunity to make it up to you and showing you how sorry I really am for letting me live with you.
I think I understand your feelings now, Mom. You do seem genuinely sorry, which is why I've decided the answer is yes. We're going to live together.
Really?
You'll never say anything horrible to me again, will you? Like you did when I was a kid?
Never, ever, ever! I swear on my life. I know I was an abject failure of a mother back then, but I want you to know I'll do anything for you now.
Anything? Do you mean that? Would you really do anything for me?
Of course! Believe in me, and I'll show you you made the right decision. I know it's selfish of me, but I've never longed for nothing more than for one more shot at being your mother, to right the wrongs of the past. I know I never gave you the love or affection a little girl deserves or needs. I know how much I hurt you, and I'll never forgive myself for that. But from here on out, I want to atone for everything and show you how special you really are to me. I'm going to spoil you rotten like I should have done back then.
I never thought the day would come where we'd be having this conversation. And actually, I'm so pleased you came back. I'm unemployed right now, so I could really use the help. The timing couldn't have been better. Things were starting to look rough, but with you here to look after me, all my problems will be a thing of the past. I can't wait to take you up on that offer of spoiling me rotten.
Excuse me? You're unemployed?
Yep. Didn't I tell you? But I actually quit my job at Peeps Industries recently, so I'm unemployed right now. But that's okay, because you're going to be there to look after me, right, Mom? I'm so relieved you came back.
Oh my God! Whatever possessed you to quit your job at the most prestigious companies in the world? What a waste! Why would you do such a thing? There are people who would kill to clean toilets at that company, and you quit? I've read the articles. They're famous for being one of the highest paying companies in America.
I decided to quit a while ago. When you came back and suggested we live together, I couldn't believe my luck. The timing couldn't have been better.
Why on earth didn't you tell me this before?
Huh? Mom, are you okay? Is something wrong? You seem a little perturbed. Why are you so angry?
The only reason I reached out to you was because I heard you worked at a major global company.
Huh? But didn't you say you were gonna spoil me rotten? Well, I'm ready to be spoiled. Let's move in together.
I will not be moving in with an unemployed leech. I thought you were on a huge salary when I suggested we should live together.
Oh, does that mean you've changed your mind?
Who in their right mind would move in with a good-for-nothing jobless scoundrel like you? You're broke and I have no use for you.
I see. What a shame. One thing's for sure, though. You haven't changed a bit. All this stuff about you having turned over a new leaf and being a different person was total bull, wasn't it? You almost fooled me.
That's my line, you deceitful little liar. You almost tricked me into moving in with a lazy shut-in hermit.
I guess that's the end of our long-awaited emotional reunion, then. That didn't last long. Looks like we're gonna have to go our separate ways again, huh? Right back to square one.
I have nothing more to say to you.
Aw, I'm like so totally sad and broken up about that.
Angela, are you there? You tricked me, right, you little...
What do you want? Didn't you say you had nothing more to say to me?
Don't play dumb with me, you stupid girl. I know the truth. You lied about being unemployed.
Strange. I don't remember lying about anything.
Don't play games with me. I heard you got a job with another major company. Apparently, these guys pay even better than Peep Industries. Your bank account must be overflowing.
Yeah, they're a great company. So I guess you could say that. I didn't lie about anything, though.
You said you were unemployed. What's that if not a barefaced lie? I bet you did it because you didn't want to live with me.
You just happened to message me straight after I resigned from the old company. Before I was officially hired by the new one, there was a period in between where I didn't have a job, which means I was technically unemployed.
Well, in that case, why didn't you damn well tell me? You were just trying to cause an argument for argument's sake, weren't you? You petty little cretin.
Did I really want to argue with you? I wonder.
You have no idea what you've done. When I heard you were unemployed,
Go on, Mom. What did you do?
I got into more debt. I contacted the loan shark because I thought I wouldn't be able to rely on you, and I didn't know what else to do. Never would have done it if I knew how much money you were making.
I already know all this. A relative told me. Apparently, you're struggling financially these days. Something about Dad demanding compensation and taking you to court? Something about crippling monthly payments that leave you with barely enough money left to eat?
Wait, you know? How long have you known all this?
I reached out to a few relatives after you messaged me out of nowhere, suggesting we move in together. I wanted to know what your ulterior motive was.
Ulterior motive? You mean you never believed me from the beginning?
You said all that stuff about how you finally understood the pain of being betrayed after Dad cheated on you and kicked you out of the house. But it was you who cheated all along, wasn't it? Both Dad and the wife of the guy you cheated on him with demanded you pay them huge amounts of compensation.
What's so funny? This is not a laughing matter. I don't even know if I can afford to eat tomorrow.
I guess that's why you tried cozying up to me again. So I'd take pity on you and take over your debt and compensation payments? You must be a real moron if you thought it was ever gonna work. You haven't changed at all. You're still the same selfish scumbag you were back then.
Scumbag? Is this how you speak to your mother?
It's the truth.
Whether you think it's the truth or not, that is no way to speak to your mother.
I haven't thought of you as my mother for over a decade. You're a stranger to me. I have no mother.
Whether you admit it or not, I am your mother and I always will be. Accordingly, you have a duty to look after me in my time of need. I know you've gotten the money. It's time to fulfill your familiar obligation.
Obligation? The only obligation I have is to myself, and that's to get as far away from you as possible. Besides, it's your fault you're in mountains of debt. It's got nothing to do with me. Stop trying to drag me into the mess you made. I could be the richest woman on the planet, and I still wouldn't have a single dollar for you.
I gave birth to you and raised you, you ungrateful little witch. It's time you paid me back and showed me the gratitude I deserve. I might have handed the baton over to Aunt Petunia after it all got too much for me, but I still gave birth to you and raised you for over 10 years.
My debt of gratitude got canceled out the moment you got blind drunk and pushed me headfirst into a pot of boiling water. All of my childhood memories consisting of you belittling or attacking me in some form. Forget gratitude. All I feel for you is hatred.
Come on, darling, surely it wouldn't hurt to toss a little something my way. I tell you what, if you just send me one envelope with enough of a little something inside to help me get out of, an awful pinch I'm in, I'll leave you alone forever. I swear I'll never speak to you again for as long as I live. So what'll it be, sweetie? Do you have a deal?
Tell me, Mom, do you know what hatred means?
Huh?
Let me tell you what I mean when I say hatred. It means I wish you nothing but absolute misery and unhappiness. If I don't give you money, you'll suffer all kinds of struggle and hardships, right? I want you to be as unhappy as humanly possible.
Oh my god, are you some kind of demon? What kind of evil daughter wishes unhappiness on her own mother? You're wicked.
Maybe so, but if I am, it must be in my genes. It would hardly be a surprise with you and Dad as my parents, would it? We're done here. This time, it's my turn to toss you aside like the piece of garbage that you are. Disappear from my life forever, you pathetic waste of space. With that, my ex-mother sunk into the depths of debt repayment hell. She'd burned all her bridges long ago, and there wasn't a soul in the world who was willing to help her in her time of need. What goes around comes around. As for my dad, being just as hopelessly addicted to gambling as he always was, apparently he wasted every last cent of the huge compensation payout he got from my mom at the casino within days of receiving it. He rushed to my mom's house in a desperate panic and attempted to force his way in to extract more money from her. Obviously, there was no way in hell she was ever going to go along with it. Tensions quickly reached boiling point. A squabble turned into a shouting match, and the shouting match turned into a fight. Before long, they were wrestling each other on the front lawn, and before the day was up, they were both lying in hospital beds. They're just as bad as each other. It'd actually be comical if it wasn't so tragic. Cruel and barbaric, arrogant and selfish. Wouldn't you just want to weep for humanity if we were all like that? I vowed to do everything in my power to ensure I end up absolutely nothing like them. And you